Welcome to live softball action coming to you from Diamond 1, West Beach, South Australia on beautiful Ghana land. It's round 4 of the CMAX Premier League. It's the reigning premier West Torrens Eagles versus the young rising Hills Heat. At stake is a spot for the 4 as 4th place 5th today for the Linda Martin Shield. I'm your host today, Anthony Weatherstone. Joined by me is the man who led South Australia to its first National Open Women's title in 66 years. He's also the assistant coach of the State Open Men's for the 2024 Nationals coming up here at West Beach in March. Also coaching down there at the Seacombe Tigers. It's Bill Benedictson. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Good, mate. Very good. And in the house, we've also got the boss as well. We have President-elect Pete Williams, fresh off of working with Softball Australia this week, so might have some cool info to come out of that. Welcome, Pete.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, had a little chat to them during the week and found out a few things of where Softball Australia and Softball South Australia will look to head in the next few years. So plenty of talent on the field tonight that's going to be around for the next few years that will be soaking up most of those opportunities.
Yeah, it's an interesting game today. The start of the season, if you told me West Torrens would be 2-2 after 4 games in their premiership defence, I would have probably said unlikely. And a very young Hills team with some new faces who are 1 and 2 and actually sitting 5th on the ladder today, coming off of a big win against the Tigers, courtesy of the import New South Wales superstar Grace Rickson. Bill, you would have been a front seat to that.
Yeah, Grace pitched very well for the Hills on Wednesday night. Found it tough to get some good hits off her, but she was in fine form. She looked a little quicker than I remember, and they won quite well.
Another future state superstar is the young Zoe Marrick, 14 years old, here pitching to Amber Hood. And she's got an early strike to get us underway.
Yeah, Zoe Marrick, I've seen a little bit of her through the Hills last year, and obviously he's coming through the grades. She's got a little pitcher on the up. She's not a lot of her, she's fairly tall and thin, but she throws them over the plate nicely.
Bit of mix to go 1-1 in the count. Yes, obviously through her junior junior career as a 14-year-old, of course, known as a specialist outfielder, but adding this string to her bow, and a big task today against the Eagles lineup.
She's got pinged for an illegal pitch there, and she's trying to work out what on earth she's done. I think you'll find she's come together with the ball in the glove, stepped on the plate, pulled them apart, and put it back in.
Good pickup, Pete.
14, you can make those little errors, and you'll learn from it at a good time now.
Game 3 in your pitching career in the Premier League, it's probably fair. Amber Hood, though, no respite, gives her no let off, gets after her in a good hitting count. The barometer of this Eagles offense, that ability just to have one of the best eyes for the zone in the competition, gets on an awful lot and gets scored an awful lot by the Eagles offense behind her. Levels the count up at 2-2.
Yeah, the top 6 batters tonight, or today, are actually all quality batters. All can hit the ball very hard and well. It'll be the tail of the order that has the youngsters in it, and we'll see how they can come to the party today. Yeah, we are going to have a bit of a chat throughout the game about these new Eagles debutants. It's not too often that you see the Eagles debut a couple of players, but in this situation it looks like they might be debuting 4. So we'll have a bit of a chat about that. Erin Adams-McDonald, the young Hills catcher, doing an experienced thing there, just settling the pitcher. Good mix by Zoe Marrick, but an even better eye by Amber Hood. She reaches first. Eagles coming off of a 5-zip loss against Port Adelaide on the 28th. So they've had a week to sort of ponder that. Hills, I think, are going to be in for a tough day. As Bill just said, with this top 6, Jordan Harris, the second base player, at the plate. Hits that outside edge. McDonald sets it up. Coach Lamery down at third, Coach McGee at first. Coach McGee just been recently announced as the best batter trophy for the Linda Martin competition.
West Torrens so far this year, the couple of games I've seen them just made the odd little error here, a bit of a crucial time against teams that hurt you when you do make errors. So, you know, that's probably been what their couple of losses have come off, a couple of little unusual, rustier performances than normal, but they're starting to get the bat on ball now.
Hood's gone. Harris has put the ball down and beaten it out to first, and Hood's gone all the way to third. Great base running by the Stars lead-off and Eagles lead-off, national champion Amber Hood. We'll just see that here on, we'll tell you about that replay in just a second. So great bunt laid down by Jordan Harris, but Amber Hood, you could see, as soon as the ball was on the right side of the diamond, she knew that the throw was going to have to be the longest throw from the infield, so she just rounded second like it was a triple, and she slid into third underneath the throat, nice and easy. So
looked like a bunt and run to me. I was thinking straight steal, but she was going, and then Jordan put that bunt down. So pretty undefensible, but two very, very fast runners there.
Yeah, and now the trouble really begins as you start to move into the power of the Eagles lineup. Not suggesting for a moment that Harris and Hood can't hit the ball deep, but Lana Kaysler loves to hit the ball long when there are runners in scoring position, and the Eagles here putting the young Hills pitcher under all sorts of pressure. It's none out when the top of the first, runners at 1 and 3, Kaysler at the plate. After it, catchable, and then flies foul over the first base fence, so obviously not catchable. Well done, Anthony. So
I think you'll find on that last play too, I noticed as soon as Jordan stepped up into the box for her turn at bat, Amber looked straight over at Terry and just started circling the hands as if to say, I'm running, I'm going the whole way here. So obviously the bump was just when the ball was there to bunt, put it down and go. And you're right, I think it was all a bit of a plan from day dot.
Kaysler smashes this ball into the ground hard as it bounces over Megan Williams at third base. Yeah, sometimes when you see the fingers going around though, that's also, I didn't get you the first time. Any chance you could maybe run that signal past me again? You want me to do what?
Are you saying you've got no faith in Amber? I'm pretty sure she knew exactly what she was doing there.
Kaysler now behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Change up. Good idea from Marek there as Kaysler hands set, ready to go. Harris sees the change up out of the hand and immediately takes the base. Eagles now runners in scoring position at second and third. Kaysler 2-2 in the count. Danny Backside is on deck. So Kaysler's pulled the ball foul left both times and hard, which means she's well in front of the pace.
They're going to have to make an adjustment, obviously. Zoe will throw strikes, but nowhere near the pace that these girls like to see.
Yeah, you can. The Hills outfield very deep, as you would imagine. In this situation, try and keep the ball in front, limit the damage. Good watching by Kaysler. Marek takes it to account. Full count here. Still none out for the Eagles. Hills looking for a ground out. And Kaysler takes a pitch just on the outside, just misses. Danny Backside comes to the plate, batting in the cleanup spot today, playing first base. She gets first opportunity here with bases loaded to break this game open.
Well, the infield's up. They look like they're ready to play at the plate here if they get a quick ball hit to them.
Outfield have also made an adjustment. They've also come in. So, I mean, the Hills, even for a very, very young team who are obviously without their Australian coach, Reggie Fairley, who's just landed in American Samoa as we speak, getting ready for the World Under-18 qualifiers.
It's good positioning too, because the wind today isn't from the southwest coming from right to left. It's actually coming in from center field. Any ball hit up in the air today is just going to hang up.
Yep.
So them playing in is smart. So let's look and hope, see how it works out.
Not a lot of water on the diamond in the last few days, so it's fairly dry. So You would expect that ball to hit the deck and then just kick and skid. It's going to be a nightmare to be an infielder today. Danny Backside continuing to help us here with letting the umpires know if it's a strike or not with her audible calls. Always a joy to watch. Powerful hitter. She can go left or right here. So ex-Queensland Heat player. Great batting by Backside. Great discipline. Situation like that. The Eagles have scored their first run as Amber Hood comes across the plate via the walk. And it doesn't get any easier for Zoe Merrick as Sophie Hoyle, premiership player, long ball hitter, same scenario, none out. And as Pete just pointed out, making her return to the Premier League for the Eagles, on deck, centre fielder Steph Trzynski.
From what I hear, Steph is not pitching this year, just playing position, I think. And giving her shoulder a well-deserved rest. Yeah, they got her in center today.
Yeah, that's obviously did some stuff with the Australian team in the warm-up games, and then obviously headed over to the Canada Cup. So after a full season down here at CMAX, taking the Eagles to that premiership. So Hoyle doesn't get all of it, but it's going to fall in the worst spot possible, out to left field. Ball comes in. Kaysler quick, couldn't catch Harris, but it didn't matter because they've both scored. Backside, of course, had to hold up just to see where it was going to fall, as we just see here on the CMAX replay. Yeah,
just got just under it, and it just did that little drop. It didn't really carry it all. Got over the glove there of Georgia King, who made a good effort. Fortunately for West Torrens, it fell in the gap, and the runners were able to scoot themselves around. And I think also you would have seen Lana Kaysler there at second. She would have had a good sight of where that ball was going and been able to got going a bit earlier than probably Danny.
Trzynski, one of those aggressive hitters who hits with tremendous power, but she'll be eager to lay bat on ball for the first time in 2023-2024 season. So she's got runners at 1 and 2, still none out for the Hills. Marek challenges, great courage by the young 14-year-old who's doing an amazing job considering when you look down at the first 6 batters that she's just thrown against.
I was just going to say, going back to the previous at-bat there, Hoyle's hit, because that infield had to play up, that's probably a ball that's caught in a normal situation, but because they're up, just couldn't get back on it. Falls in for a hit. RBI, 2 RBI hit.
Takes another high pitch there. Yes, Erin Adams-McDonald, fascinating character, makes her commentary debut Wednesday night, which will be exciting. We'll talk about that later on. But very, very smart catcher for someone of her age. Great character, great energy. Trzynski cuts down on this ball, fouls it off over the first base side. You can just see her walk, just moving around the back of the plate, setting up inside, setting up outside. She's giving Zoe every opportunity and everything that she can to try and make a very difficult job a little bit easier. Trzynski goes bang to right field, one bounce picked up by Ellis Nunn, and Backside scores. And Hoyle turns, looks at third. Trzynski's made second. And great 2-strike batting by the 2-time Kathleen Coral medalist, Steph Trzynski.
Yeah, nice piece out to right field. Fielder there just took a couple of steps there, Brody Ellis Nunn. She's thrown the ball in. She had 2 people probably just set up a bit deep for the cut, and she's gone over the top of them both, bounced in front of Erin, and then took a bounce up over her head, which got the extra base.
So we move in towards the Eagle debutants. The first one here is right fielder number 53, Tara Lord. Believe you've coached her, Bill?
Tara Lord is a member of the defending under-18s championship team from last year with West Torrens. Very powerful hitter. Similar hits to what you just saw from Trzynski there. Hard, flat. Hopefully I don't jinx her, but she doesn't cheat herself on her swing. She has a good swing.
Yeah, tall for a young player as well. Merrick continuing to work, infield up, change up, but Lord leans into it, gets a bit of it, centre field, Luxon comes through, but it's a 2-run RBI for the debutante, who's going to remember her first at-bat in the CMAX Premier League with a 2-run RBI as the Eagles jump out to 4-zip.
Yeah, lovely piece here on the replay, just left of centre field. She's had to make a bit of ground up out there, was Brie Luxon. She does it pretty quickly, but throw comes in, runner holds up at 2, but not before 2 more come over the plate.
How good. First A grade at bat, and she did a good piece of hitting there. She was a little bit out in front, held her hands back, and just poked it into shallow left center.
Yep. You see Megan Williams there, the third base coming in. Obviously, Erin Adams-McDonald also an instigator of that little conversation there. Great leadership by those people, considering the age and this young Hills team there. I loved what Merrick did there. I mean, it was a change-up. The mix concept was a great idea. Just sat up a little bit in the zone. You're not going to be perfect at 14, so. And we've got another debutante. It's the designated hitter, Zoe
Dowdle, yeah.
Dowdle.
Zoe Dowdle, a teammate of Tara Lord there last year in the 18s. Plays a good third base and shortstop. Can be a powerful hitter.
So she's a designated hitter today for the pitcher, Talia Sutton. Inside. So the real battle here for Merrick comes that she's just had a couple of really hard shots to score some runs. And so now, as a young pitcher on the rise, it's going to be that question of, you know, challenging the strike zone and having that ball hit back at me. But the reality is she's going to need to use that field today. Try and keep it low, get some ground outs. Good pitch by young Merrick.
I like the way she's gone about it. She's done probably everything your coach asked you to do, is make them put the ball in play. And there's been no errors out there. I mean, they've all been great hits.
Ball's been kept in front.
Yep.
So Coach Fairley would be watching the telecast, I'm sure, and she would be happy so far with the defense.
Yep. But West Torrens is making good contact.
And
right on cue.
Merrick
strikeout.
Gets a strikeout. And that's a really impressive strikeout considering the 2 shots just before that. So hats off. The Hills get a very important first out. And debutante number 3, Caitlin Holt, the left fielder. First pitch, goes straight after it. And oh, what nearly a great effort by Luxon as the ball, she's made the ground to get to it, and it's just come out of her glove right at the last second. Just here on the CMAX replay, you can just see her come in, and it's just fallen just out at the end, but she's come up, made a good throw, but great base running by Lord as she's made it round to third. We're back to the top of the lineup. Eagles still only 1 out. Hood takes a pitch that just missed on the inside.
Yeah, I think you're right what you're saying. You know, we've had the hit that just flopped over the shortstop when they were fielding up. Then you had the hard, fairly flat hit by Steph. The good hit by Tara. The hit there by Caitlin wasn't a bad one either. It was just a bit unlucky. It didn't stick.
Probably scored a hit.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be upset with what they're saying because as long as they're putting bat on ball.
Great little play there run by the Hills. So the runner has gone in Holt, and she's made it to second. The runner at third, Lord's come off to give us some cover, and the Hills have gone straight back to the pitcher with an opportunity to make a play at third. So well drilled for a young team. Change up, Hood waits on it, spills off the glove, and unfortunately for her, it's made its way out of the glove at shortstop. Holt's advanced, The great first effort from Marriott. That's not an easy ball to take. King recovers the ball. Good arm.
Just took a little deflection there off Zoe's glove, and I think that sort of put Georgia off a bit at shortstop. She was making a bit of ground, had to take a couple of little hop steps to hold herself up, and then it bounced up a little awkward for her, but couldn't do much more.
Harris running bunt in the first innings. First at bat, leans back on this one, and the Eagles starting to attack. Counts at the front now. 6-0. 7-0, apparently, sorry. So Harris saw all of that, just missed deep line drive to left field. We've got runners at 1 and 3. It's 1 out. Eagles 7. Hills yet to bat. Good watching there.
Now this Hills team, when you actually look at it and you look at the experience going around the inside, you've got Erin, who's in a state team. Zoe's about to be in a state team. You've got Georgia King, probably play 23s this year, I'd imagine she'd be in that. You've got Megan Williams, who's been forever in the Hills and other teams as well in the Premier League.
Player.
You've got Georgia Ballard over at second.
Change up, waits on it. King goes down at the ball at shortstop.
Yeah, they're a young, experienced team, I guess, is the way you put that, I guess.
Yeah, I actually think I spoke to Reggie Fairley a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying that they know that they're probably not going to play finals this year, but if they can win some games through the year and give these kids experience, what they've got out there playing, most of these are playing A grade, B grade 18s in a day. If they can stick this team together for 2 to 3 years and get some state experience, a bit more muscle on them and that sort of stuff, they in 3 or 4 years' time, they'll be a strong team.
I agree. I think the real secret is going to be, and personally right now just watching Zoe pitch here, while she just can't get out of this inning and she's doing a really great job, is that they don't feel like they're demoralized or crushed. They basically stay positive, know that they're working towards it. I think they're playing really well. I just think, you know, West Torrens obviously hitting the ball very well right now too. The trick is not to get down on themselves now.
That's right. It's just got to keep going with what they're doing. Things will fall right eventually, you know. But West Torrens, as you said, they're known as a hitting team. When they get hitting and when they get on, they're a team that once they're strong and their head's in the right spot, they are very hard to stop offensively.
Absolutely.
Hazler goes bang with this one straight up the middle. Line drive centre field. Runner Hood will score. Other stops at third as Harris runs in as Hazler picks herself up a stand-up single RBI to centre field. Harris has advanced to third. Hood has scored. The Eagles 9-0. Been batting for nearly 20 minutes now. And interim coach Jackie Crafter has come out.
What you're going to find now is that there's not going to be much in the way of signals from West Torrens. They're going to be up there. Don't waste your at-bats. Have your swings. And that's what they're doing at the moment. So
they're hitting really flat, which is interesting. I don't know whether it's just the way that they're hitting them nicely or whether they're considering the fact that that wind will be holding the ball up, but they are actually hitting them really nice and hard and flat.
Yeah, you can hear Coach Thomas from the Eagles bench. You can hear, calling, up the middle, team batting and stuff like that. So even though that it's a 14-year-old girl who's only in her third game pitching at the moment, and
go around the ground. Who's out in the defensive?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We haven't had a
few of them have felt the ball, but we haven't gone around.
We
didn't go around, Bill.
Couple of minutes we had to fix up, but
just quickly there, we got Zoe Marriage, as we know, pitching to Aaron Adams McDonald. At first base, we get Cat straight in. Second base, Georgia Ballard returning. Georgia King at short. Meg Williams at third base. The outfield from left to right, Riley Zobel, Bree Luxton, and Brody Ellis Nunn.
Danny Backside gets after that first pitch as she fouls it off down the first base line. And as you boys were just talking about just then, I'm pretty sure that the signal book's been put away and it's now just get a good pitch in the count and then make something of it. So,
yeah, and I suppose the other thing is, what's saying Hills aren't going to come out and hit? They've got kids as well. These kids have hit. What's to say their kids won't hit? And they've got some good strength in their lineup as well, who's been playing and hitting quite well.
Absolutely.
Backside repeat of earlier message as the ball has gone to exactly the same spot as she's now fallen behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Eagles still only 1 out.
Yeah, what you're saying, Pete, is right. In Zoe Merich's making her debut pitching. West Torrens is debuting Talia Sutton today.
Yeah.
And, you know, anything could happen there as far as hitting. The Hills team is a good hitting team.
That's right. I mean, the other night we saw Georgia Rickson obviously hit for them and hit nicely and obviously pitched nicely. Grace Rickson, sorry. Hit nicely and pitched nicely. But one person doesn't fill a lineup. You've got to have 8 other people around him in the lineup, and they managed to score 10 runs. So there couldn't be much going wrong out there.
And I think actually of the runs, I don't think there was a lot of errors on that. They were hits. I don't. Yeah, it might have been 1 or 2, not like previous games at Seacom where we've had quite a few.
Yep.
I think they hit the ball really well, and yeah, you're right. It's not just the pitcher that did it. So a lot of these girls were playing in that game, and hopefully they can do the same.
Well, backside's fouled off for the 3rd time in exactly the same spot. So you know what
I thought it was a replay.
You know what she's trying to do. She's trying to put the ball to that right side, and still good watching and discipline, even in the situation that they're in at the moment. We've got runners at 1 and 3, counts 2-2. The number 4 batter for the Eagles, Danny Backside, has an opportunity to score. Jordan Harris from 3rd. Kaisler over at 1st. Good pitch, but smashed out to centre field. Luxon does a good job keeping the ball in front, but job done by the cleanup hitter for the Eagles. Harris scores, Kaisler advances as Backside, after a first at-bat walk, picks up an RBI single to centre field.
It's another one of those nice flat hits, just, you know, Bree couldn't do a hell of a lot out there. The ball was always going to lob in short of her, so she just had to take it on the bounce, and the runner at 3rd did hold up thinking she may have been able to catch it, but when she saw she took it on the bounce, she scooted home.
I think it'd go back to that break we had there when Terry was talking to her batters, and like I said, the signals are out the window, but what you probably said to him is that we should be at least hitting for the situation, and as you said, she's trying to hit the right side. Perfect game situation to score that run. That was a quality at bat.
Hoyle at the plate, Trzynski on deck. Hoyle leans back, gets underneath the ball, and Luxon, it's just gone over her as she's been looking into the sun. Difficult opportunity there. Probably the first Eagles batter to actually lift the ball in that situation. They've all been pretty line drives, but now we find ourselves bases loaded, 1 out, and coming to the plate, the very, very dangerous Steph Trzynski. Hills desperately need an out. What I would have been saying is, as Coach Crafter had gone out there to her young infield, I would have been saying, hey, listen, the score at the moment doesn't mean a single thing. You get an opportunity to make an out, and if the out costs us a run, you make the out. We need to get off this diamond, give the battery a chance to reset. Left side, Trzynski, King gets a terrible hop, but does a great job of getting her body behind it and has made a spectacular play to the second base, Georgia Ballard.
Yeah, that was a horrible bounce up to her, and she managed to at least get back on it. She's got a rocket arm. She is a catcher as well, and she normally, when she pegs the ball from catcher over to second, it's pretty fiery. So
yeah, I said before, this ground, it's you can just see it out there at the moment. The ball is just bouncing off of it.
Great recovery. She's in behind the balls. Like, she didn't one-hand it to the side. She took it in the chest and came up and made the play.
That's Chelsea Robinson, like I would say.
Yeah.
The way she got her body behind it.
Bell White as well, gets her body behind everything.
Yeah, Chelsea Robinson last week put an absolute clinic on at shortstop.
It's funny, the 3 we just mentioned are also play catcher. You know, Georgia's been a catcher, Bell's a catcher, and Chelsea as well. So
must be a position. If you go shortstop, you can also go catcher.
Well, that or at least you're inbred to get behind the ball, I think. So
runners at 1 and 3, 2 out now for the Hills, looking for that last out. Want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time? Log on to cmax.com.au, proud sponsors of the CMAX Premier League. So Tara Lord's first at-bat in the Premier League was a single to centre, and her second is a walk that loads the bases. Zoe Dowdle, whose first at-bat was a strikeout, gets an opportunity here with bases loaded and 2 out.
Well, the rookies are getting a lifetime of ball in 1 inning here.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have expected to roll back in a second time in the first innings before they get out and get in the field. So
it's going to make it, well, you hope it make it easier on them when they actually do take the field and they have that bumper, you know, that bumper zone or that.
First pitch, grounds back out to Marek. She knocks the ball out of her glove, but does a great job and recovers as the Hills, after 27 minutes, have retired the Eagles, but the Eagles have put 11 on the board. And you can just see the Hills at the moment just meeting out the front. And I think the real big message that's got to be said here is now, just take your time, give us an opportunity, and make sure these at-bats go long, and let's try and return the favour. So, any news on a game on the other diamond? So today we've got Port Adelaide playing a double-header today. First time we've had a double-header in the A grade for some time here in the Premier League, as we've got Port Adelaide Magpies coming off of a 6-1 loss to the Falcons on Wednesday night as they take on the Walkerville Cats, looking for their first win of the Premier League season.
Yep, out over on the back diamond at the moment. I'm just bringing it up on the ever-popular iScore. Port Adelaide currently in the bottom of the second. They are 2-0 up over Walkerville. So they've just completed the second innings over there and 2-0 up to Port Adelaide. Looking at it, Jess Golden, Gemma Letton both have had a hit. So has McKenna Smith and Jess Nevis. And then for Walkerville, still at this stage, they've gone through their first 6 batters only in 2 innings. So
Talia Sutton, who is taking the mound for the, taking the circle for the first time for the Eagles today in the Premier League, throwing to Premiership catcher and Stars superstar Amber Hood. So Talia Sutton, we obviously know younger sister Sienna, who's obviously doing some great things in the under 12, under 14 ranks. What can you tell us about Talia, Bill?
Talia's been improving steadily from, well, the 3 years obviously in her pitch. She reasonably consistent. I think she's be getting a little bit faster. Probably confidence growing, you know, so she's doing quite well. She has made the state team 16s, I think, this year.
Yeah. Her father, Matt Sutton, obviously won Coach of the Year a few years ago and is also the state under 14s coach. And so, yeah.
Be a player's dream to be playing on a team that's coached by your dad, wouldn't it?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. I got 3 girls that might say otherwise, but anyway.
So, Zoe Marek leading off for the Hills.
Now, Zoe's been moved around to slap left-handed. She will hit right-handed normally, but she's been working on this. And
great athlete, super speed, so.
Yeah.
Of course, Sutton gets the luxury of looking around. Premiership third base Hoyle, Premiership and national champion Kaysler at shortstop, Premiership player, ex-Australian squad member Jordan Harris, and Queensland Heat Danny Backside, also Premiership players. It's a pretty good environment to walk into as a pitcher, a young pitcher.
And I would like to know how many times she's pitched to Amber Hood. Wouldn't think that that's probably happened before, so a pretty handy person to have behind the plate for your pitching at the Premier League.
She may have once before when in the B grade game last year, we might have had Amber up to catch for us, and Talia might have chucked one. I
just
think.
One there, was it?
There's a chance on that.
2-2 is the count. Zoe Marek just getting called as swinging through the box just there by third base umpire Damien McCauley. Takes a high pitch across the letters. She's taken the count to full, and this is what the coach would have asked for. There's no point for us going out there and just swinging at 3 pitches and going back out into the offense straight away. Let's Let's make sure we take some pitches, take some time to reset ourselves. That's a great first at-bat by Marek. She's fouled this one off, showing great fight, especially considering she's been in the middle for nearly half an hour. So tremendous, just a tremendous temperament from somebody so young, carrying so much responsibility. And she goes down, swinging on the outside, but a 7-pitch first at bat, can't be more happier than that, than other getting the ball in, so that's a good job.
Maybe we'll quickly go around the ground here for West Torrens here with Talia Sutton pitching to Amber Hood, catching. First base, Danny Baskai. Second base, Jordan Harris. Third base, Sophie Hoyle. Lana Kaesler at shortstop. Left field, Caitlin Holt. Center field, Steph Trzynski. And right field, Tara Lord.
And Bree Luxon gets a hit out to left field. It's going to get under the glove of the left fielder. She's got speed, Bree. She's passing through second. She's going to hold up there. Probably could have gone for third, but took the option to hold up safely at second. The throw comes in from Caitlin Holt to Lana Kaesler. They've got a runner on with one out, and that was a good piece, that one.
Yeah, just came straight up, and here I am talking about taking pitches and trying to drag it out.
Yeah.
And it's she's hit the fence, so...
Actually, I don't mind her stopping it too there. You're trailing by 11. You try and stretch out to a triple and get thrown out. It's not helping your team. She's in scoring position now. I'm all for her holding up there. Yeah,
especially when you've got Ballard, Williams, and King, which is really going to be the heart of this order for the Hills. This is where they're going to have to expect the job to get done. So
I was lucky enough to work with Reggie last year up at Harndorf, and Bree was one of our Harndorf players up there last year. And Reggie advised me that Bree, with her speed between bases, has been picked up by the Australian coach as one of the fastest at her age he's seen.
Wow, that is a big call. Yeah. Coach Harrow doesn't miss much. Change up by Sutton. Just falls at the plate. Great mix, as you'd expect, called by Amber Hood. CMAX want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time. Log on to cmax.com.au. Ballard goes ahead in the count now.
She was looking at that one and obviously just got a little bit high on her.
Question's going to be asked now. 3 balls, 1 strike. Runner in scoring position, 1 out.
Ballard's a good player. She's been around state teams for, the past 5 years, I think, at least.
And drops a running bunt, advances the runner, and has made it safely through to first.
Very close call there at first. Very
close call, but definitely wasn't expecting to see that happen, as we just see here on the CMAX replay. Runner gets to third, bang, bang at first, backside steps in with a big first step, makes that infield nice and small.
Yeah, good call there. She did get there just in time. It was a good call, and it's a good bunt too.
Bree moves over to third on that one.
Yep, runners at 1 and 3. Hills 1 out. Megan Williams comes to the plate, shows bunt, and first pitch, ball bouncing over to Kaesler. He's got to come in and get it, but Williams has beaten it out, and the Hills have scored their first run.
Yeah, that's just a first swing, first hit. She came off a double and a triple Wednesday night. She's put a ball there that's just plopped itself slowly, ever so slowly to Lana. It was a little bit awkward for her, and Megan was well up the line, got there nicely. Runner advances to second and Ballard and brings the one home in Luxon.
Georgia King, one of our new posters above bar 66 for this year after Abby Jorgensen left the shore of Australia to play overseas. Got a big opportunity here to put the ball into some space and on the green with runners at 1 and 2 and 1 out. And I think we've said it, I've said it a million times before on the broadcast. Sometimes the kids, as King just goes bang deep out to right field, difficult ball to take. Lord's done a great job, but to try and get it, but Trzynski, excellent backup right there at her feet and limits any further damage. Run scores, and Ballard's made it. Williams has got to third, and King has got to first.
No, so Ballard's held up at third there. She was holding the base at second because she thought that may have just held up in the wind for Steph or Tara to take. As soon as she saw it in the gap, she had to go. Williams had already turned second and was looking, but couldn't advance to third. So
yeah, difficult, real difficult catch, nice and high, and the heat just exciting here as they fight back.
Well, they're mixing it up a bit here, aren't they? They
2 running bunts, line drive high, like
the bat before with Megan, just a little bit of a slap to put it in play, and then King hits a big one. But well run by the runners there. Ballard probably best bet is to go back and tag. Ball hit the right field with a chance to catch. Moving one base is all you can do. But yeah, they get the bases juiced up now and only 1 out.
Well, as you said, when you're down at the moment, you're down by 10. You've got to play the safe card. So
yeah. Oh, look, in this situation, if you can keep the inning going as a batting team like West Torrens did, just keep it going. It's in your favor.
Bases loaded, 1 out. And a big swing by Cat Sterian. Cat Sterian, is that Step?
Yep. Sterian, yeah.
Sterian,
yep.
I've got that right.
Yeah.
Young first base player. So bases loaded opportunity here. Talia Sutton throwing to Amber Hood for the Eagles. Good pitch.
She's been patient here. She took the first 2 balls, had the good throw at the hands at the next one that she liked.
Well, I didn't mind that by Sutton, and the fact that she kept the ball low, because get a ground out here to a quality infield like the Eagles, and you can double up. But Sutton just turns up the heat there and just beats her for pace and takes the count to full. So it's 1 out. Runners will be going aggressively, but they'll still be conscious to see where the ball goes. Sutton goes high, but great discipline by Sterian, who has picked a walk.
Yeah, that's as I said, the first 2 she sat on, she threw the hands at the hard at the third one, watched another ball, threw her hands hard again, and was super patient on those last couple to get herself up, which is when you got loaded bases and the 1 out.
Well, I like the fight back here, the Hills, I must admit. You know, they didn't die. They came out and gave her a shot.
I'll tell you what I am looking forward to is knowing that you're going to have to leave us early today, Bill, but Pete Williams, CMAX Clinical Performance Player of the Day. Good luck with that.
Yeah, could be you, Anthony.
I'll be calling it, but you'll be saying it. So,
good move by Amber Hood here just a moment ago, going out, settling down a young pitcher. You know, reminding her, you know, they still got themselves a 9-run lead. Yeah. You know, and she's doing what they're asking to do, make them put the ball in play.
And West Torrens have, for many years now, prided themselves on their defence. And you just look at that defence, it is as impressive as we've got in the Premier League. They're not reigning champions for nothing. And so, I mean, the message is really just, hey, look, come on, kid. Just, if you don't beat the bat, don't worry, this field will back you up. That being said, obviously they've got a bunch of debutants in the outfield. Not that Steph Trzynski's a debutant, but Holt and Lord. And Hood does a great job calling that ball inside as Adam McDonald, the catcher, comes up with the bases still loaded and 1 out.
They might have some young ones in the outfield, but when the person in between them is a person by the name of Steph Trzynski, is a very handy person to have out there helping you.
Good change of pace there by Sutton, really well disguised. Adams McDonald had no real choice there. She was committed to what she thought it was going to be, and then but was good enough, to her credit, when she had figured out that it wasn't going to get on her as quickly as she thought. She was still able to foul it off. So another opportunity, count 2-2, 1 out, bases loaded. Eagles 11, Hills 2, and we're bottom of the first.
Patient again there. I suppose that's the difference with your pitchers as well. These 2 pitchers obviously not played a lot of Premier League, if much at all. and especially not pitched a lot. So they're going to throw quite a few balls, you'd imagine, around the place. So you're just going to be fairly patient there, and if you see one you like it, go after it.
And Sutton goes up, and McDonald just can't resist that opportunity with that strong breeze right to left as that ball lifted. The dog park beckoned, runs to be scored, but it's just beaten the bat. Bringing to the plate now at 2 out, it's the left fielder Riley Zobel.
This pitch there, a bit of a down ball, change of pace. Good action on it. Yeah,
look, I mean, Amberhood, as good as they come as calling smart, but the important thing is that Sutton's still got to be able to execute it, and she's doing a great job so far. And Amberhood's just taken one in the helmet there. Just checks her gear as that's being foul tipped into the mask. Hoyle comes down from third just to check in on her.
Pretty tough, Amber. It's going to have to hit her harder than that to take her out, I think.
Right here. Oh, yeah, right in the grill.
Behind in the count. 2 out. Good mix. Good discipline. So, as you'd expect, we're 43 minutes into the game, and we're at 2 out in the bottom of the first. Fouls this one off right out in front. Williams was halfway down the third base line. Anything that's loose, she's going to be down here and scoring. Not that Amber Hood makes too many mistakes. So
I've been impressed here by the Hills, though. After having 11 hit against you, you could come out and have your heads down, but they've come out and they've kept trying hard. Been patient in the box. They've had a few hits. They've got 2 runs over. They've got loaded bases with 2 out. So they've not thrown the towel in, that's for sure.
Well, they've had a 14 minutes batting in so far. That's the important part. So Marrick's had a little bit of time. Adam McDonald's had a bit of time. Coach Kraft has had some time in there to have a bit of a reset. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what their approach is in the second innings. Just missing.
That's a good call. I mean, I think Amber wanted that one, but it was up.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit high.
Yeah.
So full count, loaded bases, 2 out. Runners are going. Flies it up. Hood comes out. Early call, and Sutton gets out of a jam with some good pitching, some good calling by the superstar that is Hood. It's a good defense by the Eagles. Highlighted, as we were talking before, Pete, you said that difference between the left and right fielder having somebody like Trzynski. That ball that Lord got that fell in, and Trzynski was already there. So as soon as that ball spilt, the Eagles still had somebody there ready to throw. So you can see that Coach Lemry's just brought her crew out the front. And as we move into the top of the second, it's a 9-run lead to the West Torrens Eagles, but impressive by the Heat to show some fight.
We've got to change positions coming up here. We'll get them for you in a second. I'll just wait to see what it may be.
CMAX want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time. Log on to cmax.com.au. It's Hills Heat Club Day, so if you haven't had an opportunity to have one of their gourmet hot potatoes, you've still got a couple of hours left. Get in there, they are outstanding.
And looks like they're doing some clock work out in the outfield. They've apparently swung their left field to right field to centre, and centre to the left. So 7-9-9-8-8-7 is the switch up.
Might be one of those predetermined. I'm going to let you all play a field, different field, and we'll sit.
Well, the thing is that West Torrens good enough to hit both sides, so it doesn't matter where you put them, they're going to get a ball probably if they hit them.
So it's the number 9 hitter, Caitlin Holt, and I can't stress how important it is that the Hills work as hard as they possibly can and try and pick themselves up. The lead-off out, because the top of the order beckons.
You were saying before, Anthony, at the change of innings there about, the experience of having Steph run round in behind. you know, a lot of these players, they've come through the grades and everything. They got a lot of state team training and that sort of stuff where they start to learn and these little things they've got to do. But when someone of Steph's level who's got the international experience that would be so well drilled at a number of positions on the diamond, it's a very handy person to have amongst a couple of people who are out there at a very young age.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, Sutton to have an infield of the quality of Hoyle, Kaysler, Harris, backside, and throwing to Hood, I mean, that just lifts your confidence and you just know that you can focus just on your particular role. So, great insight. The Eagles have always done a great job of, you know, bringing through juniors and giving them the opportunity with senior players around. And so that opportunity to learn from the best, I mean, the players that are coaching this team now, the Mel McGee's, the Terry Lamrys, the B. Thomases, all superstars of the Eagles' history. And some of these other players have had that opportunity to work with them and play with them in the sense that they've been able to learn on the job. And some of that stuff you can't coach, you just have to learn by doing it together. And so that's why they've always had a very successful team. But you look at the Hills, I mean, this is youth, this is the next generation on display, and you can't be more excited about the fight. Oh, what a great field by Marek as she gets the ball straight back as the Hills get that very important lead off as the ball was a little high, but Kate Starion's done a good job as we see here on the CMAX replay.
Yeah, it was hard hit. She got her glove down nicely, fielded it well. The throw across, she just really took it a bit easy and put it high, but luckily Kat was good enough there at first and there was a good giggle that went on afterwards. So
just a little bit of an overthink on that throw, but the good thing Zoe did there was it looked like on those last two pitches, took a little bit of pace off. Let's make her put the ball in play. Number 9 hitter, I want to go after her. And then we can start over up here. So, yeah, they got that leadoff out. That's a good start. Yeah,
they needed the number, and they've got it because it's not about to become any easier with Hood, Harris, Kaysler, backside, Hoyle, Transiski to the follow-up.
Nice pitch.
I tell you, how much confidence would it give this young pitcher if she was able to strike one of those top 5 or 6 out?
Be telling that story for a while, wouldn't she?
They'd build a statue up at Nemo Park, I know that much. So. Here we go, Marek 1-1. Change up, hangs in the air, which seems like an eternity.
Couldn't have missed by much.
But Hood, good enough.
Just off the plate.
Hood had a very good look at it, took the step over to really have a go and then held her bat.
Yeah.
Didn't miss by a lot in the replay here, just outside.
Yeah, just off, yeah, just off. Good call.
Yes, Amber Hood, one of the best players in the CMAX Premier League and well renowned for having one of the best eyes in the competition. That's why she leads off. As I said, she sets the tone for the Eagles in so many different ways. And that one just missed. Very brave by Marek just to keep plugging away and asking the question. I love that about the way she's going about it here. So Jordan Harris, though, she's not going to die wondering here. Expect her to be after the first pitch hittable.
Last time Amber was up on first and Jordan was up. She delayed that bunt and Amber got all the way around to third, but not sure we're going to see it when you're 11-2 up.
Well, what I'm kind of wondering here, and we'll see, and so far in the first inning, they've done it by being up. West Torrens in the past get up a few, and they'd be taking their hacks for the fence. They're showing good discipline. You know, there hasn't been too many misplaced swings and big fly balls.
Yeah, well, you just I mentioned at the top of the second, Coach Lamry had pulled them in, which when you're up 11-2, you'd sort of think from the outside looking in, why would the coach bring them in when they're up by 9 and it's the second innings and we're halfway through? And I think what you just said, Bill, is that's exactly what that's about, is that what got us to 11 was team batting. And as you say here, like Marek, Adams, McDonald, they're still trying to challenge hitters. They're throwing the ball around the place and they're asking the question of the Eagles hitters. And to their credit, you know, Hood, Harris so far, you know, showing the discipline that's got them to where they are, as that's back-to-back walks for two of the Eagles superstars. And Adams McDonald uses this opportunity to have a bit of a timeout after the great first out play that was made at the start of the innings with the laser that got hit back to Marek by debutant Holt and made the play at first base.
I'm just wondering here, and maybe you can help me out, but I'm wondering if they get past Zoe Mericic, where they go. Do they have another pitcher in the lineup here?
Yeah, Riley Zobel has pitched before.
She pitched some B grade, I think.
Yeah, she's pitched B grade, and I reckon she may have even came in for an innings when they played Port Adelaide.
Okay.
But she definitely is a pitcher as well. Outside of that, I'm a little bit light on after that, I believe. Don't know a lot about Brody at left field, but
Kaysler takes an early strike across the knees. It's 1 out. We're in, and don't check your watches. I'm about to say it. It's 10-4, and we're in the top of the second. So, Eagles 11, Hills 2. We get an update from Diamond 2 as Port Adelaide embark on a doubleheader with the Walkerville Cats. Score update coming shortly. Backside on deck. Another great change up by Marek. Importantly, out of the zone. So discipline required by Kaysler, which she's respected and kept her hands back.
Yeah, score out the back, still sitting at 2-0. At this stage, they're in the top of the fourth.
Kaysler leans forward for this one. Williams reflex at third, takes and plays the base. Hood, as fast as she is, couldn't get there in time, and it's a 5-3 ground out. And you can just see Kaysler's just leant forward, and Williams instinctively just quickly played her base, looking at the opportunity. So we have 2 out for the Eagles. Runners at 1 and 2, and it's the cleanup batter, Danny Backside. First pitch, change up, hangs across the plate, and Backside loads her hands back and just fouls it off over the first base line.
She's not too far of getting out of that inning very quickly. A nice little pop up to first base, and they've got the 3 outs, and they're right back on the bat. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they'll be very happy to come out of this without a run scoring against them, getting through that part of the lineup as well.
It's a good bounce back.
Backside grounds over to shortstop King.
And there you go.
Smartly plays the lead base as the Hills continue to mount some form of fight back here in a difficult contest. You see here on the CMAX replay, hard shot by Backside King, who's had the ball hit at her 3 or 4 times hard today. Great job, gets her body right behind it. Williams in the perfect spot, and the out made at third. So
pretty smart play that. She just took the easy option. It was right in front of her. She already had her body facing that way. Megan Williams got herself back to third quickly. May as well just take the easy play.
More importantly, a great answer back inning, Neil, to get your 3 outs, no runs given up. That's a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, that inning took
no, hardly any
minutes.
time at all. Yeah, that's it, exactly. And I think the worst thing when you play West Torrens is when you play West Torrens who have coming off of a loss. They're a side that particularly doesn't like to lose, and when you're a defending champion, they've had a no game Wednesday night, so they've had a week to think about getting back out there and squaring the ledger, and unfortunately the Hills have walked into that buzzsaw. But again, full credit to the Hills. They've done a great job, especially with their offense. Defense hasn't made too many mistakes. They've had it tough, a couple of really hard hit balls, and as Marek and Adams McDonald, considering the lineup that they're throwing against, as you said, Bill, to be able to come back after that first innings and retire without any further addition, super impressive. As well as being impressive, CMAX want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time. Log on to cmax.com.au, proud sponsors of the Linda Martin Shield. So, bottom of the second. And we find ourselves...
Brody Ellis-Nunn comes up into the box first time today. So
exactly what I was about to say. Second pitch, hard line drive shot, one bounce, and the always impressive Jordan Harris stays low to the ground. Exactly what you want from a second base. Great piece of fielding here.
Wasn't a bad hit, actually. She got onto it nicely, but Jordan's just super quick and super smart at second and did it very easily in the end.
Good contact there, but that would be what you want your pitcher to do. Get ground balls to this infield, and they're going to handle most of those plays, you know, every day of the week.
Zoe Marek, the leadoff for the Hills, has switched sides of the plate and is having an opportunity from what I think would be her more instinctive right side.
She had a good at bat the first time. Got struck out, but she had a good at bat. She stuck around there for quite a few pitches and saw a few, so.
Good watching. Yeah, the important thing that happens here for the Hills is that whilst you've had a good innings, second innings, and you haven't given up any runs, and yes, there were still a couple of base runners, the important thing is to not throw that momentum back and away and then just go 1, 2, 3 real quick. You do have to sort of stay in there. And unfortunately, Marek gets a piece of contact on the ball, high on the handle, and unfortunately, Danny Backside takes an easy catch at first base.
Yeah, just hit this up a little bit late on the right side there, and Danny didn't really have to move, just stood up, took the ball nicely. She fielded shortstop in the B-grade game just before, so her eye will be well and truly in the infield by now.
Bree Luxon drove the ball hard up the middle first time, takes one across the letters here.
Yeah, this is the part of the order that got started for him last inning, the Hills.
Yep, Ballard and Williams followed with some short plays before King nearly took the roof off. So Sutton here, 2 out, heart of the lineup. As a young pitcher, even with the super impressive defense around her, she'd love nothing more than to start with Ballard, Williams and King next innings. Luxon chases up, puts herself in front of the count here.
Reggie Fairley seeing her name on the commentary, on the comments from the live stream, saying that she's watching this game from her hotel room in America, Samoa.
And Luxon goes down swinging on the outside. Good pitch by Sutton, and you can see the impressive job that Amber Hood's doing there. So the Eagles return the favour. To see this pitch here by Sutton. Great little mix of pace and just drop on the ball there. So the Hills now going into the top of the third. Score remains the same from the first, as if you would believe. It's 11-2. Eagles over the Heat as we nearly hit 4 o'clock.
Yep, so for those that have been watching so far, you'll notice that there's 3 umpires out there as well tonight, and the one who's called a few strikeouts already for both pitches is Dave Borovnik on plate. Up at first we've got Peter Fairley, and over at third we've got Damien McCauley.
And just for you overseas viewers who are watching and see a nice sunny day here at West Beach, particularly maybe back in Maple Ridge, BC. It's 22 degrees here, perfect conditions for ball. Wind from the southwest at about 19 kilometers an hour.
Hypothetically, what would it be over there at the moment, Bill?
What are we in? What month is this? November? Ooh, I haven't checked, but I can find out. But I imagine we're probably hovering around the 12 to 14 area.
Yeah, no thanks for that. Sophie Hoyle leading off here in the top of the third for the Eagles.
I think that was Wednesday night, about 10 degrees.
Yeah,
would have been cold out on the back diamond, wouldn't it?
It was very cold out there in the back diamond. I resisted not wearing long pants on that night, and I was sadly mistaken in doing that.
You'd be coming here too long, Bill, to make a mistake like that. That's a rookie mistake.
I had Annalie in the dugout when I came back in, shivering, offering to put blankets around me and stuff like that. I said, no, I'm fine.
1-1 is the count as Hoyle looking to be an early base runner for the Eagles to follow. Change up. Feels like it was up there for eternity. Blue Borovnik had all the time in the world to make his decision there.
Sophie's had that one that just flopped over the shortstop in her first at bat. That's when the field was up a bit, as we said. Probably if they were back playing in their normal position. She had loaded bases, so they were in for it. If it had been back normal, probably would have held for Georgia King.
Yes, King's had a difficult day out at shortstop, just with the way that the ball's been bouncing and where it's been hit, but she's been good. As good as Hoyle's been here, as she's picked a lead-off walk here in the top of the third, bringing Steph Trzynski to the plate, with the Eagles debutants to follow. 11-2 here in the top of the third, and what is an interesting game as we see the youth of the Hills and the future against the powerful defending champions, coming off of a loss and a dominant first innings. But the Hills, to their credit, have stuck in and have not gone away. Zoe Merrick, probably only her third or fourth game maybe in the middle. 14, doing an impressive performance against a hitting lineup that I remember back in the day, many years ago, throwing against the likes of McGee and Thomas and so on in batting practice, and they were never a good time. So I have plenty of sympathy. That ball's loose. Hoyle goes to second, has a quick casual look over the shoulder to see if there's an opportunity for third, but Adams McDonald has recovered the ball quickly, stopping her at second.
That's been probably just one of the only really loose pitch there. She hopefully not signs of fatigue. And
well, as a 14-year-old too, it's a tough gig here.
It sure is. She's holding her own. She's doing well.
She keeps asking the question. That's what I like. Adams McDonald's not letting her off. She's, as a young catcher, as well as she can. She's still making her work all around the zone. She's just not trying to set up and just throw balls and strikes. She is trying to work edges. So Trzynski picks up a walk.
The other thing is she's not scared to try things. She's, you know, where they are in the count, where they are in the game, and what's gone on for her so far, seems to just not even be phasing her. She's still trying things. She's throwing the change up. She's throwing them high, throwing them low. She's trying to do things with it. She hasn't put anything away and just gone back to stock standard, because if you do that against this team and start throwing them over the middle, your game's done.
Yeah. Well, I think now, like I said, she in the last inning just got away. That last inning, she took a little off just to get strikes in against the number 9 batter and did a good job. And now she's down in the order, mind you, down the order against Tara Lord and Zoe Dowdo, who are good batters as well. And she knows farewell from seeing in junior ball. But, you know, she just go after them and, again, trust the gloves behind her, and hopefully you can get a fly ball out, get a ground ball, get a double play.
Just misses. The other thing to remember too, as a 14-year-old pitching a Premier League game here, you know, on TV, you know, against the defending champions, and she would have played 18s this morning, so she's been here since 10. So it's a long day for a young kid.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's still plugging away out there, hats off to her. So 11-2. No extra score from the first innings where it all happened, and since then Eagles have threatened, and swinging over that one is Lord, who's had an impressive debut, scoring with her first at bat a shot to centre field that scored a run. Difficult catch opportunity in the second. Fouls this one off on the outside.
Nice catch in the on-deck circle by Zoe Dowd.
Gloveless. Who needs a glove in this game, eh?
That's right. Good hands.
I see one the other night on a replay somewhere where somebody just ran in and fielded the ball with the bare hand and threw it over. I can't remember who it was, but
that would have been somebody playing in the World Series, you know, Texas Rangers versus the...
No, it was in our live stream from softball, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think that was a foul tip. Yeah, Dave's made the call, foul tip. I think I heard a foul tip.
The thing here that we need for the Hills, they need an out. Eagles, they need bat on ball, preferably behind the runner into space to give these runners a chance. So big pitch coming up, full count, none out. And Marek deserved that very much. I'd like to see that Hills field get in and let her know about it a little bit more. But
second strikeout of the game.
Been a bit of time between the drinks. First one being this batter now, Zoe Dowdle. She was struck out at her first time at bat. It's confidence now. Now that you know you've struck this one out and you've just done the last one, push off that and capitalise on it.
Good catching by Adams McDonald behind the plate, just falling to her left, keeping the ball in front. So important with a runner at 3 and a runner at 2. Good pitch at the hands, and Zoe's fouled that one off. Yes, can't remember the last time I would have seen the Eagles make 3 debutants. I mean, obviously they've got some players away through a variety of circumstances. Obviously we had some limited kids action this morning with the Christmas pageant.
Well, it was a few years back. It was probably 3 years back. There was a young 14-year-old for West Torrens who came in and pitched. I think it was Spacequake Sports 4-camera angle night, and last name on that player was Benedictson.
Right.
Didn't go quite as well. It probably went as well as it's going for Zoe at the moment. But then she bounced back a year later and got her first win, I think, against Walkerville out in Diamond 2. But that was just dabbling in pitching. She's not a pitcher anymore.
Yeah, it's an impressive league. I mean, when you consider the players that have been coming over from overseas and in the States. So bounces it over Marek. Perfect shot by the rookie. Ball comes in hard, but she scored 2. Coach Lamery will be happy when the designated hitter in her debutante game as a young kid has come up and done that. And we're about to see the Eagles jump into their bench here.
2 RBI single there by Zoe. Well done.
I'm hearing Abby Luttrell, I think it is, coming on to run for Zoe Dowdle. So she's smacked the ball to centre field, pulls up at first and says, righto, someone else's turn.
Designated hitter, job done. Can't do it all.
You know, this West Torrens team tonight is, or today is almost a hybrid of the 18 champions and the Open A champions from last year.
Yeah, right.
Look at that bottom half, and Abby coming in, she was on the 18s team, so kind of makes sense to throw them together in a hybrid situation. And
well, and the other thing is, you know, we were talking the other night on the commentary with the Sturt Port game. Sturt had a number of the high school girls, or the girls who were basically primary school team girls that were out on the diamond. There was about 3 or 4 of them out there at the time, and you know they were holding their own nicely and that sort of stuff. So these young kids, if they're starting to come through our Premier League and seeing the ability of people overseas to see what comes through our league and take some of these girls off to college, you'd be silly not to be throwing your hand up at opportunities when they come at you.
Yeah, and you consider too, the Hills have got some players away that have airdropped into American Samoa today. I mean, Abby Bastian, obviously one of those players who's a superstar on the rise. So tough break here for the Hills. Again, Caitlin Holt in an important at-bat here in the number 9 spot. But we've got a fresh runner on. It's 13-2, and you've got Amber Hood on deck at 1 out. She leans back and smashes the ball to left field, but not before a great catch has been taken out there by Ellis Nunn after the switch.
Yep, holding the runner up as well at first, so
great
nice
swing.
piece. Nice piece of it, got well
swing
onto it, but just managed to find that left fielder who's made her way over from right field, so coach's move.
Yeah, you take credit when they work. Hood still takes a pitch 2 out now for the Eagles. Runner at first. They're at the top of their lineup. It's 13-2. We're in the top of the third. And we find ourselves around about 70 minutes in. So change up. Hood's seen that multiple times today, and she's done a great job of staying off of it. As tempted as she would have been to have a go, but is continuing to team bat and lead the Eagles' way here. Takes another low pitch. She's already had multiple walks today, has Hood. Game following this one here at 5 o'clock. For those that can get down to West Beach and enjoy some gourmet potatoes and some great hot food and good drinks, as the Tigers take on the Rebels. Hood smashes that ball as it's just gone over the base, as Blue Borovnik has called it loud and fast. It's a foul ball.
Wow. That was tight. He called it really early and loud, but
2 bounces. Yeah, no, the third bounce has gone
just
out.
Over, yeah, just over the orange bag.
Hood would be happy with that, because that means she gets another opportunity to do it again. So 2 out here. Runner at first for the Eagles.
Tell you what, that was hit very hard as well. Kat Sterling had no hope, and she was fielding pretty well near the line.
Speaking of that game coming up next, I might have to leave you at the end of this half inning and go off and do some other duties.
It's been a pleasure having you. You're going to be featuring on the mic a fair bit through the season, so
I'll get here when I can.
And we've also mentioned he's going to be here for the Open Men's Nationals in March, where he's an assistant coach. So anybody that can try and keep James Harris in line, good luck with that. So, no, thank you for your time today, Bill. Good luck today. Hopefully, like the Eagles, you can have a bounce back today. So Rebels will be tough. I'm assuming Growers down for the day.
I would imagine. I'm not sure, but I would imagine so, yeah. It could be a good game. Well, it'd be a tough game, definitely.
Yeah. All the best. And so thanking Bill Benedictson, National Open Women's State Coach, who, after 66 years, broke the drought. Jordan Harris is at the plate with runners at 1 and 2 after the walk. Bang goes the ball to second base. Ballard, full extension, knocks it down. Great base running by the pinch runner. And I believe there's another pinch runner. Is that?
Yeah, Caitlin Holt's come back out, took over from Amber Hood with the catch of speed up. She sped herself around to third, and that was good race running also there by Zoe Dowdall's replacement, which was, of course, Abby Luttrell.
So the Eagles continuing now to chip away at 14-2. 2 out, runners at 1 and 3. As first pitch, Kaisler hits the ball to shortstop. King does a good job. Harris is going to scoot around and make it home. Great base running by Jordan Harris. But going back to the Kaisler swing, grounds it out to shortstop. King fields the ball, throws low. Ballard can't control it at second, and that's allowed Harris to score, which, when you consider that was from first base and the ball's just behind it, that's super base running by Jordan Harris. Great heads up. Coach Lemery's green-lit that, and nearly a play at the plate.
That was a very, very good speed considering she was the play. The ball's only gone about 5 metres past the second base.
Yep.
And obviously the right fielder was not expecting it to come through. George Ballard's had to make that turn and go, but she has just done phenomenal speed to get home there.
Yeah. Probably the first poor play, unfortunately, for the Hills late in the day here. Got to hold tough. Good change of pace by Marek, and some break on the ball as backside swings over the top of that one. And that's the problem for the Young Hills team. These Eagle superstars just keep coming up. Quality everywhere. Good hold by backside. CMAX want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time? Log on to cmax.com.au. Another low pitch. So we're live softball action coming to you from West Beach on beautiful Ghana land. As Bill said before, it's warmer than it is in Canada here at the moment. It's 22, not a cloud in the sky, a little bit of a breeze from right to left at what you can see here off the beach. And backside, grounds out to King, who attacks the ball, goes under a glove, spills out to centre field. Kaysler scores, and backside picks herself up another RBI.
Yeah, that one there, it looks like Georgia's really attacked that ball hard, as we see here on the replay. She's charged in, she's got it on the second bounce. Had the runner probably just in the peripheral of her eyesight, might have just taken her eye off it for a second, and that was all it needed for the ball to tip out to the centre field and the run to come home.
Sophie Hoyle comes to the plate, got right under her last at bat, nice high ball into the outfield. Takes a strike across the knees as the impressive young Zoe Marek, 14 years old, pitching in the CMAX Premier League here in the Adelaide Softball Association competition. Hoyle leans back, puts the ball over centre field. Luxon goes. She's going to stop it before it reaches the fence. Backside from first, will score across the plate, and Hoyle jogs into second as King gets the ball through the relay as another run scores as the Eagles push it out to 18-2 here in the top of the third.
Yeah, lovely piece of the ball there. She's clearly got it over Luxon, fielding in a little bit shallower there, and the ball's clearly got over her. It was a throw into the shortstop there, Georgia King, who ran out for the cut if they were going to get it to third, but as it was, Sophie Hoyle held up at second, and Danny Backside threw herself around the bases and scores.
2 out, Steph Trzynski comes to the plate. Pitch on the outside. Adams McDonald's done a really good job today for her young pitcher there.
She's also saved a lot of bases. There are a few that have hit the dirt just before her that could have got through, could have got past, and she's managed to hold them up, which is extra bases that the West Torrens would have loved.
Great shot by Marek. An absolute laser that's been hit by Trzynski out to shortstop, and King 2 grabs, and she takes the line drive catch to retire the Eagles. You just see here on the CMAX replay, just flies out and just into the glove, into the pocket, and then out. But not before the Eagles have added 7, as we now go to the Hills in what will be the bottom of the third. So we're at the, coming up on around about 10-12 minutes to go. So probably a great time, Pete, to the hardest job that'll be done here today is figure out the CMAX clinical performance player of the day.
Rolling through the West Torrens team, I mean, Amber's had three walks. She's got them through 3 walks. Jordan Harris, she's had a walk, a hit and a bunt. Lana Kaysler, she's had a walk. She's had also a nice piece out to centre field. Danny Baskai's had a nice piece out to centre field and a walk. Going through, Steph Trzynski's had a nice hit to right field. She's had a walk and got home. Tara Lord had a nice piece to centre field. So did Zoe Dowdle just before. But at the moment, probably from their team, the one that I'm looking at probably at this stage from 4 turns in the box is Sophie Hoyle. She's had a hit to left field. She's got on through the ball that just got basically hit the ankles of Brie Luxon. She's then had a walk and she just had the double out to centre field. She's brought home 3 runs off her own bat with 2 hits. So at the moment, she's probably just in front for me.
Well, I'm glad that you nailed that down because you did name 7 players before you got to her. So it's the performance player of the day, not players. So well done to you. And there's still an opportunity here in 10 minutes to go to see if somebody can change your mind. Georgia Ballard's one of those people that's going to do her best. She's leading off the bottom of the third here. So far, a running bunt at the plate. Young Talia Sutton doing a very good job in the middle today for the Eagles, giving up only the 2. And will be enjoying a healthy lead there at the moment, allowing her just to focus on calling what, pitching what Amber Hood is calling.
Yeah, so looking at the flip side from what I was just saying before, as we see a strikeout there, Georgia Ballard having a look. That takes it to what I was just about to say was 3 strikeouts, but now 4 strikeouts for the game for Talia Sutton. She's had a pretty good performance considering she's had, well, that's only the 12th, is it? Batter come to the box for her, so she struck out 30% of the people that have faced her so far this game. Has been pretty impressive. She's only given up the 1 walk and 3 hits. But on the batting side, Bree Luxon's had a nice double out to left field. Georgia Ballard got a good bunting and got herself up to first. Megan Williams had a good hit to a duff hit that went to shortstop and managed to get her legs up to first. Georgia King had the good hit out to right field. So that first innings of Hills was quite impressive. They failed to find it in the second innings, but they're only really just rolling in for their second at bat now. So if some of them can repeat that first performance, we might see this game go a little bit longer yet.
Yeah. Williams just fouling that pitch off. She falls behind in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. It's been an impressive debut for Sutton. As you said, 4 strikeouts. Granted, the Hills are a young team and she's got a superstar field around her, but she's done what's asked, and, you know, again, she's been able to focus on that execution phase, and she hasn't made any mistakes. So when the change-up's been called, it's fallen front at the plate just like it should. So it's been an impressive start for the young pitcher from West Torrens. This one fouled off to third base. Amber Hood, far out. That ball hadn't even started to drop, and Amber Hood had already thrown the mask, and it was already underneath it.
Yeah, that one came up pretty chunky off the bat there, got up, just tailed away a little bit, but I mean, I think either Sophie or Amber would have got that. Sophie obviously backed down and leaves with the catcher, but interesting, the strikeouts for Talia have come from the top 4 out of the 4 that she's done, the top 3 batters, so
that's impressive.
That's pretty handy on your debut.
So King, who's had that great shot to right field, good batting, staying off the high stuff.
Georgia King, another one I got to see a fair bit of last year up in the Hills. Very, very, very good potential player, this one, for the future for South Australia, if we can keep her as long as we can, because she can hit a very good ball. She's good behind the plate as a catcher, and she can field in the infield.
Holds on that one.
She's got an absolute rocket of an arm, so very, very talented young player who's, I think, just turned 18 not long ago, so still very young, but probably one of the older ones in this lineup for Hills today.
And as you said, look, you know, they are going to be a team going forward that's going to become dangerous. You know, King picks a good walk there in this innings. I mean, like Seacombe, they've had some fairly quality pickups this year. So, and obviously we got to see, well, I got to see firsthand today in the Seacombe reserves, one of their new pitchers who I believe is from Sweden, and she was super impressive, and her name is Emil Eriksson. I believe I've got that, I hope I've said that right. Tall, strong woman who was throwing legitimate rockets out there in the B grade game. So, I mean, the Seacombe, you know, they've recruited well. You've got Coach Benedictson there, obviously with Coach Dolman, and the Hills, obviously with Grace Rickson in town, were able to capitalise. But as you said, one person's not going to win you that game. So,
so Charlotte Ernst comes into bat here for Kat Sterian, so it's a substitution into the game. It's her turn at bat here.
So I like the fact that, you know, other people were able to contribute around her, so that shows that Coach Fairley's obviously, you know, there's a reason why she's coaching in the Australian teams, is that you know, these players are learning some quality softball. So it's just a matter of time, and unfortunately sometimes you're going to walk into West Torrens on a loss, which is the worst time to get them, and sometimes this is what's happened. So,
and the other thing with the talent of our coaches that are through the A's and B grades and the junior teams that we've got here is they're teaching these kids and that are coming through to do just more than one thing. So I've seen Reggie teaching 2 or 3 of the Hahndorf people last year who are right-handers, getting them into that left-hand box and getting them doing the slaps and stuff like that and the running bunts, because they've got genuine speed. So if they can perfect that ball, they can advance runners and they can get themselves sometimes onto base as well. Chloe Davis, she did that with her last year. We saw Brie Luxon did it earlier. Well, was in the left hand. Sorry, Marich is the left-hand box earlier as well. That's because of what these coaches are teaching them, and so I think it's a really good thing that they're still learning. Yeah. They're still developing and working out their own game. So, you know, it's good to see the likes of Belle White, who she was in this exact same position probably back in the early 2000s, I'd imagine, or even maybe before. Yeah. So these kids have got to realise it does get better.
Yep.
And it will get a little bit easier, but there's a little bit of hurt and pain you've got to go through to get there.
A lot of state players in those teams. So Eagles, we're getting close to time now, looking to put this one away. And goes down looking. Blue Borovnik has called time and game. So Talia Sutton, great job by the young pitcher. The Eagles have managed with 3 or 4 forced changes. They've brought in some debutants and they've shown the way with their senior superstars to a big win over the Hills Heat, 18-2. Obviously, who themselves have got some players out. Claire Moran-Ram, the pitcher, she's obviously still injured. You know, we talked about Bastian being away with the Australian team. So all in all, it was a difficult game, but they were very impressive in the first. They kept chipping away. Super impressed with Zoe Merrick for the job that she did, and Erin Adams-McDonald. So we CMAX player of the day, no changes. You happy with Sophie Hoyle?
That would have been 3 to Sophie Hoyle, 2 to Harris, and probably 1 then to Steph Trzynski.
Yeah. Yep. Talia Sutton for me. Really enjoyed that game. 4 strikeouts. Did the job, executed as she was supposed to. So join us Wednesday night at 8 p.m. for the completion of round 4 when James Harris calls the action for Glenelg v Sturt, with young star Erin Adams-McDonald making her commentary debut alongside the experienced Kylie Weatherstone. And thank you everybody for those watching. Major broadcast partners CMAX and MC Sportswear. Phil and Pete, thank you for your time, and of course the great producer Brandon. So thank you for your time. We'll see you on Wednesday.